Hello and welcome to another episode of AGD Bytesize, where I give you a small tip or a little bit of code to help improve your game. And today I'm going to show you a simple option that will allow you to let the player choose which type of control they want, and you can test it within the editor itself, and you don't need to put a basic program or a front end. It just takes a few lines of code, a little bit of assembly, and you will be on your way. So let's take a quick look at the code itself now. So I'll just run the code, and here you can see obviously you can't actually see that this is working unless you have the demo itself, which I'll make available for download, but I am using the keys 6, 7, 8 and 9 here. And I've now changed it to keyboard control, and I'm controlling the little square using that. And if I switch to Kempston, I could use the Kempston joystick, but I don't actually have a Kempston joystick connected right now, but I have tested it and it's working just fine. So yeah, as you can see here, flicking through the controls, you can put this on your front screen, on the start screen, and the player can press the C key and change the control. So obviously one of the first things you need to do is when you define the keys, set key 7 or key 6 in the code, the last one, as the letter C for control. So that's one of the things you'll need to do. The next thing then is, let's take a look at the messages. Now I haven't altered the messages here, but I'm going to code in here. I've got message 2 is just the letter C, and message 3, which we'll look at now, is obviously you can probably predict it's the rest of the word. That's so that we can have a different color. And then message 4 is keyboard, Kempston and Sinclair, and obviously we keep those in the correct order so that we can use a variable to define the message according to the selection. Okay, now the first thing then, as far as the code goes, is that we need to find out what control is currently being used. So when the screen initiates, we'll go to restart screen, and we'll check if it's screen 0, and we'll put in this 6 lines of assembly, and all this does basically is look up the value in the memory at address 32005, which determines the control, and it stores it in the variable rand. So basically we're going to be using the variable rand here to read what control is actually being currently set and what is being used. So this means that you won't be able to use the variable rand on screen 0, but because it's a menu screen, it's very unlikely that you'd be using the variable rand anyway. If you did want to use a different variable, then you can basically work back this number here, 52. If you change it, you can use a different variable, so you can track back according to the positions in the memory. But for now, to keep it simple, we're just going to use variable rand. Okay, so now that we've read the control option that's currently set, let's take a look at the code that allows the user to change it. So this is the code here at the start. We're checking for if screen is 0, and then we're looking for key 6, which is C. We're checking param A, and I'll come back to param A in a minute. It's basically just a keyboard check to make sure that when the user presses the key, it doesn't keep repeating. But if PMA is 0, it means that the user is allowed to change the control. It makes a little beep. It adds 1 to rand and checks if rand is greater than 2. So it's basically cycling each time that the user is allowed to press the key. It cycles rand from 0, 1, 2, and then back to 0. So keyboard, Kempston, Sinclair in rotation. Okay, so I just noticed actually I've got an extra line here that I don't need, which is let PMA 5. That was a test I was doing earlier, so we'll just delete that, ignore it, don't worry about it. So now we run an ASM call, a series of calls, and now you probably notice this is very similar numbers to the to the initialization, and the reason for that simply is that what we're doing now is taking whatever value rand has, and we are storing it in the memory address 32005. So we're basically allowing the user effectively to poke 32005 with either 0, 1 or 2. Now getting back to param, you'll notice once the user has pressed a key, we set param to 1, which means that the user has just changed the control. And what we'll do, as you can see here, we've got an else here after key 6. And what that means is that the user won't be able to change the control again until they let go of key 6. And that's important because if the user was to hold down key 6, then rand would keep cycling very, very quickly, and they'd have to try and just stop it and choose the control in such a way that it would be very difficult for them. So what this means is that every time the user presses a key, they have to let go and press it again, and that means that they basically tap the key to change. Makes it a lot more comfortable for the user and a lot easier for them. Okay, so that's basically the selection of the control. The only thing that remains then is for us to display it. So here I've put it at line 21, column 8. You can change this as you like. Color 2, message 2, which is of course the letter C. Color 6, message 3, which is the rest. That just makes it obvious to the user that they have to press the letter C to change the code. I'm using temporary variable here, object 4, because we know that the words keyboard, Kempston and Sinclair start from message 4. So when we add rand to message 4, we'll get the numbers 4, 5 or 6, and we'll display that message so that it will be correct according to the user's choice. So yeah, and then beyond that we just have a simple test, and obviously your player code can be in here, and you can do whatever you like with that. So yeah, that's pretty much it really. As I said, it's fairly straightforward. Just 12 lines of assembly in 2 different places, and as you can see here, just running it one more time, it's very simple. When AGD compiles that code, it goes straight in as part of the script, and you don't need to tell it to exit the code or anything like that. It's simply integrated straight into AGD. It makes it very easy for the user. Okay, great. Well, I think really that is pretty much it then for today. I hope you found that useful. If you did, then as always, please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Always appreciated. So keep enjoying AGD, keep enjoying the Spectrum, and as always, happy coding. Bye bye.